Hi, and welcome back to Papier Learning Live. Today we're going to talk about questioning and the different types of questions to facilitate more effective coaching conversations. Questioning is what makes a coaching session very distinct from a mentoring or a counselling session, because it is the specific types of questions that a coach asks to really start to facilitate the coachee to explore different types of perspectives of their goal or the issue that they want to solve in that session. So let's start with closed questions. Now, I think that closed questions tend to get a bit of a bad rep, and I think it's because they do tend to give a very limited response, either yes or no. However, I do think that it's good to use closed questions at certain times of a coaching conversation, just in order to get a very basic understanding of the situation. For example, have you spoken to anybody about this? Yes or no? But when the closed question starts to become more effective is when you lead it up with an open question. Now, the open question is equivalent to opening up Pandora's box. It's when you really start to get an opportunity to get the coachee to explore and justify the reasons as to what their actions are or what their behaviors are. And it's a chance for you to get that understanding as well. So examples of open questions: what does that mean? What led you to make this decision? In the essence, being open about fully explaining their reasoning for certain things. Now, this is different to a leading question, which rather than allowing the coachee to explain their particular actions or behaviors, leading questions tend to use the coachee's preconceived notions to force the coachee to think in a particular way. They tend to be negative, accusatory. So things like, why did you do that? Often similar to my mum asking leading questions for me to do chores around the house. Don't you think it's time that you did the washing? Negative, accusatory, telling me that I probably should be getting off the sofa. And then that leads us to multiple questioning. Often when, as a coach, you are intrinsically curious about trying to understand a coachee's situation, you want to ask all of the questions in one go. And asking multiple questions such as, so what made you do this? And how do you feel about this? But asking it all in one sentence can often be limiting for the coachee, as they don't have the time to actually process what you said for the first question. Questioning can often feel quite unnatural when you are starting off as a coach, because you are so determined to ask the right question at the right time. And often this inner narration starts to really get into your head. I have often found that really utilizing silence between a coaching session is important, not just for the coachee to think about what their answers are, but also for me to really be in the moment and consider what it is that the coachee is feeling, in order for me to ask the more genuine question. But in terms of going forward, really starting to explore open questions, but also following them up with closed questions to get your own understanding. And then in that coaching session, to try to avoid leading questions that you might have with your own preconceived notion. Leave the judgment completely out the door. You are acting as a sounding board in that coaching session. And then trying to not get so curious that you actually end up asking multiple questions in one go. Letting the coachee utilize the silence by trying to consider what you asked the first time. If you are an experienced coach watching this, I would love to hear your experiences of different types of questions. I think the more practice that you get, the more golden nuggets that you also find that you think, that was actually a really good question. I'll save it for my next one. If you're willing to share, please do. Leave a comment below, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to Papier Learning Live if you haven't already for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.